G'day mates, my name's Liam. Today I'd like to talk about maximizing your chances of success in making a creative project. Now I'm going to specifically be talking about game design, but I think this is really applicable to a lot of creative projects. Now the reason I think game design is a really good case study of maximizing your chances of success is because game design contains a lot of other creative disciplines. Within game design, you've got a lot of technical and artistic disciplines, which are all creative. You've got programming, you've got technical art, you've got 3D modeling, you've got music design, sound design, texturing, photography. Did I mention programming? Look, there are so many disciplines which are both technical and artistic and creative, which are within game design, which I think is why game design is a really good case study for this specific question of how to maximize your chances of success. First, I think we should take a look at what makes a game successful, and I think there are three key areas in determining the success of a game. The first key area is financial success. If you have made a profit over the amount of time and effort and the money you've invested in making that game, then you could consider that a success, no matter how big that success may be or small it may be. The second definition of success, which I think is applicable, is educational success. And I think that you can define it as when you gather information and learn something. So say that you make a prototype or release a beta or an alpha of your game, or just release a concept and get feedback from it. You can determine what's good and what works and what doesn't work. And I think that from that, you can gain a lot of educational success from that. Like, you can learn a lot and you can really implement that stuff within your game and within your project. And I think that getting feedback really helps you learn. So no matter what it is, even if you make just a small prototype and release that, and maybe not a lot of people play it, but maybe some people do, and maybe they give you some really good feedback, I think that can be determined to be an educational success, because you can take that feedback and you can then run with it and implement that in your full game. Or maybe it helps you realize that, the path that I was going down on in making this game wasn't the exact path that would lead me to success, but because I've got this knowledge now and I've got this data from these people who have said, yeah, look, this is interesting, but we prefer it this way, then you can really hone your project and really get it really pinpoint accurate and hopefully lead you to success. Now, the third definition of success I want to focus on is personal success. Now, I think that any project could be considered a personal success, whether it fails financially or fails educationally. You will still learn something and you will be able to look at where you started, which could be from nothing, like it could be your first game, or it could be your fourth or fifth game or 100th game. It doesn't really matter. As long as you can see where you started and see how far you've come, then I think you can really consider that what you've made is a personal success. It's a personal success story because you've improved on what you've done before, you've learnt a little bit, and you have been able to use those skills which you've learned and developed along the way in making this product. Whether it is a huge financial hit or a financial flop, it doesn't matter. You've learned something, and then you're able to then take that personal experience and use that in other projects. So I think now that we've defined what success looks like, we can now look at ways to maximize your chances of success. So I think the first thing that you should do before programming anything and before designing anything or doing anything creative is make a pitch. Now, I'm not saying that's not creative, because it is creative, but making a pitch is a really good way to help you focus on what you want your game to be. And it can be really good at telling other people what your game is. Just make a pitch which is 30 seconds long, one paragraph, even a sentence. It doesn't matter, as long as it really defines your game well and really shows how it's unique, how it's fun, how other people will enjoy it, and how it maybe differs from other games. Maybe it's similar in certain ways, but you're actually improving on other games which you like. As long as it's your idea and you are making it from scratch, if you're improving on things which you like, but you want to make your own game around that, then that's great. But just make a pitch, because then you can really focus and bring attention to what makes your game unique. And the great thing about making a pitch is that that is the first thing that you can share with people. You can share your pitch with a lot of people and see if people like it, see if people think it's a good idea. If, if they think it's fun, if they think that you could improve on certain things, then you can get that feedback really early and really help to refine your idea. So I think making a pitch is the best thing that you can do first. The next thing I think you should do after making your pitch and getting feedback from your pitch is make a scope. Define the features that you want. Define what is required to make the game minimum viable product and what isn't, what you may like to have but don't necessarily need, and what you may like in the future but is definitely out of scope. Making a scope is a really good way of showing you exactly what resources you need to allocate to do specific tasks. And making a scope can really keep you on track when you're developing your game. Say that you have this grand idea of a massive open world game that has, AI NPCs, huge open world, you can go to different regions, different countries. That may not be the best game for you to make as a solo developer with no experience. Writing it down in a scope may help you realize that, and may help you realize that, well, maybe this is a game for later, but I can bring it down and make it a bit smaller and make it more manageable for me to make. I think that scope is really good at helping you really refine your idea. Make it makeable, just making it something which is tangible to actually understand, getting your ideas out from your head and putting it on paper, even if it's just text, even if it's just a few little notes, and defining it in terms of priority, in terms of this is number one, this is absolute priority. This is number two, I want it in, but it doesn't have to be in until I've made the minimum viable product. Number three, yeah, it would be great to have, but maybe not yet. Maybe I can do this when I have more time, when I've released it, when I see if people even like the game. And number four is, this would be great to have, but I probably don't need it. So just having this priority-based scope for your game based on your pitch is going to be really good, helping you see what you need to do, what you need to get skills in, and what you need to make in order to see your game be a success. Now, I said to get feedback as early as possible in the pitch, and I think you should also get feedback on the scope as well. It's good to get feedback early because when you get feedback, you're able to really iterate on your product. You're able to make a better game. You are making a game for other people to play. Yes, you may like it, but you may find that what you're developing, other people may not understand because you've been in this development bubble where you're just making something which you think is, yeah, this is great, this makes so much sense to me. But because you know your product, because you know what you're making, you know your game, you know exactly what to do. But that doesn't mean other people do know what to do. So I think that getting feedback early and incorporating those changes early is a really good way of ensuring that you save time and you don't waste time in making things or features which may not even be necessary for the game. Which leads me to my next point, which is I think you should take inspiration from other games, other developers, but I don't think you should copy. If you are going to get inspiration from a feature of a game or a mechanic or a playstyle, I think you should try and really put your own twist on it. Think about what you like about it and think about how to improve it, because that's how you really iterate on ideas and make them a lot better. There are some really great games out there which have really good mechanics which could be improved. There is always room for optimization and improvement on anything. Take a look at other people's work, get inspired, but think about how you can really put your take on it. Think about how you can improve it and make it better. Sometimes you may not be able to, and that's fine, but you don't want to build your game just as a clone. You want it to be a unique piece of you, You want it to be really awesome and something which other people don't have the ability to make, because then that's going to be something which people want to play. Hopefully. The next point, I think, is important. It's really important. I think you need to be willing to take risks. It may be a risk to make something which is a bit weird. People haven't seen this game before, they haven't seen this gameplay. Maybe you've done something completely unique and no one's ever seen it. Back in the day when people made 2D platformers, it was really revolutionary to make a 3D one. They took a risk because yeah, we take it for granted that games are 3D now, but back then, people may not have even enjoyed it. No one knew whether people would like it. The control style was different, the play style was different, like everything was different. It was a huge risk to do that, but it really paid off. And I'm very thankful that someone had that idea and took that risk to make those 3D games, because now we've got to where we are now. I really encourage you guys to, if you have this wacky idea for a game, if you have a really new spin on a genre, or like this really cool feature which you've always wanted to make, which no one else has done, but you're not too sure if people will like it, go and make it. You can risk making a game and no one likes it, right? But you can also risk not making a game and being really sad that you didn't take that opportunity or didn't take that risk to do that. Go make the games that you want to make. And by doing that, I think you should put yourself out there. Go make a YouTube channel. Make a YouTube channel to show the progress of your game. Talk to people. Talk to other developers. Make a community around your game so that other people are able to see the progress that you make. Like, you can't develop a game in a silo, because if you develop a game in a silo, no one will hear about it. You'll get no one interested in it. You'll release it and then you'll be like, wow, that kind of sucks because no one played my game. Really put yourself out there. Get to know other developers. Get to know the community that you want to release the game to. Make a community around it while you're developing it, because that's going to be your best chance of success. That leads me on to my next point, which is bring others along with you. If you are going to be building a community around your game and you're going to be trying your best to be a successful developer or successful at your creative project, absolutely there are going to be people who are there willing to put in like time and like invest in your game. Absolutely take those people along with you. You know, if they are willing to support you in your game making journey, their success is your success. You know, like, you want your community to succeed just as much as they want you to succeed in your journey in making that game. You succeeding in making that game is going to be really beneficial to them. Share in the success, constant building of community, getting people to really root for you and just be a positive influence in your journey. There is no negative which can come from that. It's just, I think, a really good idea that anyone should do around their creative project, especially game design. You know, like, it can be really frustrating when you don't have anyone to kind of root for you when you're making a game. It can be really hard because it's so technical, so hard, so time consuming. There is so much background knowledge that you need in order to make even a simple game. It can be really demotivating sometimes. Developing community around you, around your game, which supports you, they want you to succeed in making your game, that can get you through some tough times. I think that bringing others along with you is an absolute key at maximizing your success. And along with that, don't compare yourself to others. There are so many people out there making games now, and some are successful, some aren't. There are a lot of people who make games which no one hears about and no one knows about. That should not be a reflection on how successful you are as a person or as a developer, because, like I said, there are many forms of success: financial success, educational success, and personal success. And even if your game flops, you can still find you learned something. You are able to then bring that into your next project and improve on that and really like hone your craft, get better, learn some skills. Maybe the skills that you learned get you a job. That's all success. Don't take it too hard if it fails, because there are still opportunities for you to succeed, and they may be further down the line. They may be closer down the line. They may be the next game that you release. You don't know until you try. And by comparing yourself to others, it can really demotivate you. Don't look at people who've made really massive success on games like Notch, Minecraft, and, you know, the guy that made Stardew Valley. Don't look at their games and think, yeah, I'm going to make that, because you may make that and that may be great. But if you compare yourself to that, and at the end of the day, when you release your game and it doesn't do as well as they did, it's not good. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is you back from when you first started making games or when you first started on your project or journey. If you compare yourself to you when you first started versus now, I guarantee you'll be extremely happy because, you first started out with no knowledge, didn't know how to make a game, didn't know how to make music, didn't know how to make anything. And now you've made something, you've made a prototype. That's amazing. That's amazing progress. And I just encourage you to just continue on that. Don't let comparisons to other games dissuade you from making games. Don't let the fact that maybe you can't make a game which is, your dream game now, really work hard at it and you will be able to do it eventually. There's a lot of resources out there which can help you. And as long as you stay motivated and you have the time to invest into it, you can do it. And that brings me to my next point, which is you need to remain consistent. You need to have some consistency in the time that you invest in your project. So you may not have a lot of time to invest in your project, and it may be very limited, but that does not matter. As long as you are putting in a small bit of progress every single week or every interval that you can manage, it doesn't matter. As long as you try every single opportunity that you get in making something and improving what you've made previously, you'll find that if you manage this and you track it, you can see that you started from nothing, you added this feature here. Look, you've built on it, you've improved the feature. You've made a new feature, improved the gameplay, you've put in another feature, you've added music, now it sounds good. Now you've added another feature, you've added sound effects. This is turning out to be really cool. And over time, if you track it, you'll be able to see that you've made a huge amount of progress. Regardless of how long it takes you, that's success. I think ultimately we should value the process itself. We should value making something and improving on it rather than success itself, because you may release a game and it may not be successful. It may not be this financial hit that you wanted it to be, but hey, it doesn't matter, because if you value the process itself, you can then go and say, okay, I learned something from this, and now I can take this, what I've learned from this project, make a new project, and make it even better than ever. Maybe this time I can do a lot more marketing. Maybe this time I can really develop a really awesome community around my game to get it out there. There is always room for improvement. You've learned something, so that means that you can then take that knowledge and put it into the new project and make it even better than you've ever done before. This video is just to encourage you guys that on your journey, it will be hard to make games. It's a very technical and very creative field, and there is no one right way or wrong way to make a game. There might be some wrong ways, but let's say for argument's sake that you're making a pretty decent game. Honestly, as long as you're putting in consistent work, you're sticking to a plan, and you're getting feedback, and you're not getting dissuaded by other people or the progress of other people and seeing other people's projects and comparing yourself to them, I think as long as you continue in your journey, making your games, you'll be able to be successful in whatever means that you define success. If you define success as financial success, educational success, and personal success, well, it doesn't matter if you're not financially successful, you'll still learn something and you'll still be personally successful. So look, just keep making games, make your projects, don't let people dissuade you. Even if it's a big project, maybe rein the scope back in, make something which is a little bit smaller, but just keep on making it. Be consistent in your efforts in making your project and you'll release something eventually. So anyway, guys, these have just been my thoughts, opinions, and experiences on the matter. What do you think is definition of success for releasing your game, and how do you think you can maximize your chances of success in making your game or creative project? Because like I said in the beginning of this video, this advice can be applied to any creative project, and I would really encourage people to be purposeful with the work that you do on your projects. Even if it's just small, doesn't matter. Just do some work on your projects, consistently improve them, and you will get better over time. And, create that community around you for support. Without support, it can be pretty lonely making games and being really in this technical mindset of developing things. It can be really hard, but with that community behind you and around you, you can really, it can really help you to get through those tough times. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on how you could succeed. If you have any other ways of succeeding and being productive and maximizing your chances of success in any creative project or game design, whatever it is, just let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked or disliked it, let me know. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.